day 21. It's actually the night of day 21. I normally record in the morning, but today was a lot. And so currently it's 10:01 p.m. And if you know anything about me, I am normally in bed way earlier than this. But I'm showing up, I'm doing it, even though I'm really stinking tired. Um, this morning we had our last walk in Grand Rapids. We're currently in a different house. And yeah, we're at Jim and Lauren's cottage on Lake Michigan, and we haven't been down to the lake today because we got in at like 5 p.m. and then we had to make dinner and do some food prep and get another workout in, and so it's been a lot in a short amount of time. But we left GR with everything that we plan to take with us, which is more than we intended. Not more than we intend, but I think on our way here, the shower wasn't done. So there was like a lot of stuff shoved in the shower. And now that we can't store stuff in the shower, it definitely changes the game. Um, and yeah, I think we had a really delightful last day. By that, I mean yesterday. Today was more housekeeping and stuff. Yesterday we had a really productive day on the bus, and then we worked out, and then we went to Art Prize. And so many times Ben and I had wanted to come to Art Prize, but it's always at the beginning of the school year and we can't leave, and it's like a 2-week event in Grand Rapids that celebrates artists and their artwork. And so we got to go this year. I mean, obviously we only saw a small portion of it because it's really spread throughout the city. And I want to talk to you about my 3 favorites that I saw. Again, I only saw a small fraction. Um, the first one that I saw that I loved was this, and the artist happened to be there, this woman, and she made artwork out of wire. So she was like bending the wire, and it was honestly so cool. She made like this woman out of flowers out of wire. It was like all hanging, so it kind of moved, as the um, air conditioner was blowing on it. It was definitely cool. And there was another drawing piece that took up almost an entire wall where there was like a mom and her 3 children, and they were all um, kind of laying together. That sounds weird, but like she was reading one a story and one was reading it's like her own story. And so it was just kind of like, the best way to explain it is like, first off, it was charcoal, so it was black and gray, which I love, really realistic. And it was just like a mom and her 3 young girls, and they were all just kind of hanging out together. um and so that was delightful. And then around the corner from that was a poet, and this poet, not only was his poetry phenomenal, but he also created poetry on demand, essentially. You gave him a word and he created an entire custom piece for you. And so, of course, I gave him joy, and he wrote a pretty incredible piece, which I'm going to be posting on Instagram very soon. So stay tuned for that. I hope to make a reel of all of the different art pieces that we saw. Some were 3D, some were 2D, some were drawing, some were painting, some were digital, some were live performances. I mean, honestly, it was incredible. And then the other one that I thought was really, really cool was there was this framed wooden, um, like it was the African continent, and it was made up of all these like little wood pieces, and they were all kind of glued together. And there was a light coming out of it, and then the light, when it turned on, made a silhouette, and the silhouette was of a woman. So it's like the wood pieces cast the shadow of the silhouette of the woman, and you would never have seen it coming. I mean, it was phenomenal. I think it was definitely Ben's favorite, and the art prize winner over the course of the 2 weeks. So people vote on them, and so that person got Ben's vote, and mine was the poet. Um, but it was amazing. And we kind of walked around the city a lot, and I really like Winter Rapids. If you have the chances to check it out, it's like a cool city, but it's not too overwhelmingly big. Um, yeah, I love it. I love it. Changing the subject, I wrote some notes because my brain is broke this late at night. And so the other thing that I wanted to bring up was that um, it has definitely been an interesting experience to watch myself back in these videos and to listen to myself in the podcast. The first thing that comes to mind with that is how I feel desensitized to myself now. I feel like I was always like, ugh. And I mean, sometimes I'm still a little bit like cringe. That was horrible. But I also am like, oh, who cares? Like I'm not saying anything that's offensive, hopefully. Um, and so I would say that's an interesting thing. I also feel like it's a very cool reflective tool to like go back and listen to myself on these coffee talk podcasts or how I show up for people in the episodes of SJP, and also like in these videos watching them back and then using them as a reflective tool to be like, oh, that clearly is something you've brought up a ton of times, so maybe there's some thing that you need to kind of dive into there. To add on to that, I think that I definitely want to find somebody to interview me, um, because I think that would be a cool experience for you guys to hear, but also for me as a learning tool. And so I'm hoping that over the course of the year, I'll find someone who's willing to interview me or a couple people. But we'll see if those become published. But they probably will to some extent. Um, but I think it's an interesting activity. And to listen back is a whole nother experience, right? So there's the initial recording, and then there's like the editing, and then the listening back. And I feel like every time I experience something live time, it feels so different when I listen back. Like it doesn't at all feel like the same experience, which is such a strange phenomenon that I like never would have expected. Yeah, and a couple things that were delightful today as I finish out. I just dropped my book on the floor. So the first thing is that this shirt is my new pajama shirt. Yes, I'm in my pajamas because it's 10 p.m. and this is the last thing on my to-do list for today. Um, and this shirt says, "Empathy is greater than ego." It's Andy Grammer's new tour shirt. Love that. Got it really big because who doesn't love a big t-shirt? Um, so that's my first delight of today. My second, oh, I have a whole bunch now coming to mind. My second is that the neighbors in Grand Rapids there are two little girls, and they were selling bracelets to Jim that they had made. They were trying to raise money for, I don't know what they were raising money for, maybe softball or something. And so Jim bought two of these bracelets, and I have one upstairs, and it's so cute. Um, so cute. When we got to the cottage, first off, I love the cottage. It's like slow down vibes. Um, I love it here. The ambiance is nice. Yeah, I love it. And we could just walk to Lake Michigan. It's like not very far. It's like a quarter of a mile maybe. And there were some deer in the backyard scampering around. I think they were a little bit mad that we were here. Um, so that's another delight. I also like was helping Ben park the bus. So I was here less than 5 minutes and I found three, one, two, three four-leaf clovers in the first 5 minutes of being here. I'm not even kidding. They're over there. I would show you, but I'd have to get up and I'm too tired for that. So, yeah, that's a recap of my day. Overall, it was pretty good. I think we're going to be here for a couple of days, and we're going to try to plan out how we're going to get to Portland in about 2 weeks. This is definitely a new phase of the journey that's much harder and anxiety inducing, but like I've said many times, the only thing that helps with anxiety is to do something about it. So we're going to plan it, try to figure out where we're going to stay, when we're going to fill up, when we're going to dump. I think tomorrow we're taking the first shower on the bus, so I'm pretty excited about that too. Because I feel like it's not real until that happens. And then, yeah, I have to edit I have to edit a podcast tomorrow. I have a podcast recording tomorrow. Lots on the to-do list, but I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. Yeah. I hope you are having a delightful day wherever you are. And I'm sending so much love to you. Until tomorrow. Bye.